Yay.
Hi, sweet thing.
Hi.
I do think we need to kind of come clean
Sure.
with listeners that we're recording at a completely different time.
The sun is up.
The sun is up.
It's midday.
The work week is nigh. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Wait,
this has always kind of been my dream, honestly.
The one single time that I forgot to put on Do Not Disturb, I get one text.
Oh, I want to put on Do Not Disturb.
Generally, when we record, I put on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah,
and
same.
when I take it off at the end, I'm like, let's see.
When I
let's
take it
see
off
how
at the
many
end, I
roll
have
in.
one push notification from HuffPost.
Yeah, no, same. Mine is like an Uber Eats thing.
Yeah.
That's like, act now and order again
10%
at
off.
this same time. Yeah.
I also want to come clean and say my tummy doesn't feel good and I don't feel good and I threw up earlier.
I know. You sent me the proverbial I threw up text.
I threw up.
I threw up.
But it's not because I'm hungover or sick. It's because I'm a sensitive girl who has a lot of feelings.
I know. Actually, this will tie into something that we talk about later, but I'm very jealous of your body's ability to keep the score that way.
That's crazy. I am so jealous of people who don't have this.
No, I think it's healthier to be that responsive in real time.
But it's like debilitating.
Because like what will happen to me is 3 weeks after I experience something, I'll get a gaping cold sore on my lip. And I'm like, what's that about?
So what happens in the moment?
In the moment, I probably feel, well,
and we're
I think
talking
it
about like
depends.
a moment that would cause you angst or like sadness or something, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like receiving bad news.
Yeah, receiving bad news. Yeah.
I would probably, kind of what we discussed last night, I would get a like really fiery, upset feeling in my tummy.
Yeah.
But kind of like the stomach drop feeling that happens like on a roller coaster. It would feel like a very adrenaline dumpy response. Adrenaline dumpy.
Adrenaline dumpy.
But then it would pass. Like there would never be a next step, but it sounds like your body took a next step.
Oh my God, it's taken several next
steps. It circled back and followed up and took a next step.
The progression of events was hearing the bad news, fire burning, heart on fire.
Yeah.
Pain, chest.
Little shoddy was fire burning.
Shoddy burning, fire on the dance floor.
On the dance floor.
Burning fire. That, and then like immediately standing up, walking around, like not like just body sort of moving places, go to the bathroom immediately because stuff is happening, but
Sure.
I don't know where, which end we're talking.
And what's scarier?
And what's scarier than that?
Oh my God.
And it felt like, it could have really have been either.
Yeah.
And so then nothing happened. So then I was like, fuck, because if it doesn't come out, then it's just in there.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, it's got to come out.
Right.
But I like even though I was having all this body stuff happen, I was like not fully like the processing hadn't like hit. So I couldn't really like cry. I'm so used to like, I think to your point, having like it being so easy for me to immediately tap into what I'm feeling and then express it, that when it doesn't, I'm like, well, I cannot handle the discomfort of my body right now if I don't get this out immediately.
Right.
So yeah, then I threw up and then I like finally went to sleep, but was up like, whatever.
Have you ever thrown up before because of grief?
Yeah.
So this is, okay, so that's like a normal body response for you.
It's not normal.
But it's happened. Okay.
Yeah. Like intense, like super intense. Yeah. Like bad news.
Yep.
But mostly I just like cry really intensely and like heaving sobs in my
the
stomach.
moment. Like you'll receive bad news and in the moment it will happen.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on what the news is.
See, I'm so jealous of that. I'm going to save this conversation because it does tie directly. It does tie directly into what we want to talk about later. But okay. I'm actually happy that you're purging.
I'm so happy.
I know it's not the response you want. Like, of course, I feel awful that you feel sick, but I'm so happy that your body is letting you release all of that poison.
Yeah, no. And when I was talking to ChatGPT about it, they were like, the fact that you are getting this out means that you're ready to let this go.
Totally.
And like, I am so grateful for that because it's been, and I'm going to cry on this podcast now. Oh my God.
That's okay. Wait, this is a first.
This sucks. Wait, no.
We'll redact the video and replace it with like you in a swimsuit or something. You like frothing in waves.
Yeah. Did it happen when we were in your apartment? Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, but those are the days where we would record for like 4.5 hours. And I was like, so I think we can probably cut the crying part.
Yeah, I think we can cut the 2 hours of Carey like nonsensically blubbering.
I was like, we still have 3.5 hours to work with if we do that. So no worries.
No, I'm honestly like randomly kind of fine with this being in, which is crazy. But I'm
actually surprised it hasn't happened before.
Me too.
On this pod.
Let's actually talk about something else.
Okay, amazing.
So that I can get through that, and then we can talk later about what we want to talk about.
Well, it's actually kind of like, this ties into what we were just talking about before we started recording, but this period of intensity of purging, yes, I do believe is very tied to something cosmic that's happening, which is the blood moon.
And eclipse.
And the eclipse. So are those are the same thing?
I guess it's the same thing because a lunar eclipse is a blood moon because it changes the color of the moon.
Sure. Okay. Lunar eclipse, when the moon moves
in front of
the sun,
I think.
And then a solar eclipse would be
when the sun moves in front of the moon.
When the sun moves in front of the moon. Correct?
Right. But I don't actually know.
Hey, look, girl, same.
The point is, it's intense.
The point is, the planets are shuffling about and causing a ruckus. And I did text you because I thought that you would understand like the significance of the blood moon, and it turns out that you maybe don't.
Well, I knew it was happening, and I knew it was going to affect me, and it was part of why I made the decision last night to do something that I figured would be a part of the blood moon story for me.
Of course.
And then I fully understand now how I always am more interested in how it's going to impact me specifically.
Right.
Because I don't care about other people.
Of course.
So I just knew that it was like, I had heard about just like intense purging, release, transformation, crying on your podcast, all the above.
And that's actually written
that's
on
going to happen to every
space.com.
person.
Mm-hmm. You're going to start a podcast and you're going to cry on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, is there anything good when the cosmos are up to something? Like, I feel like every time the planets move around, people are going through some period of intensity, and it's never great.
That's because human beings hate change. So they think of change as automatically bad. When the planets are moving, it just implies that something is going to be changing. Therefore, everyone freaks out.
Sure, of course.
That's my take.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And it would probably make a lot of sense why I like to blame the planets for being up to no good, because
they should be.
I don't like change.
Held accountable.
Of course.
I also just like, this is going to sound like such a high person's thought, and I promise that I'm not right now, but like,
you've actually never been emptier.
What do you mean?
With your purge.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's nothing to taint. Oh, yeah. There's nothing to taint or cloud.
No, I have
what's going
no
on
food
up
in my
there.
body. Yeah. I am so, I'm just an empty vessel. I was just thinking the other day about like how crazy the planets are. Like, first of all, why are they all circles?
Mm-hmm.
No one knows why they're all circles. Well, they probably do, but I don't know.
They're flat circles. We know that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, why aren't some of them like squares?
I know. Wait.
Okay, Max, I'm laughing at us.
Okay. No, but that's an excellent question.
No, it's just like
they're allowed to be different colors, and they're allowed to have like
different textures and stuff.
Gaseous
atmospheres.
I wonder if it's how gas interacts, because but that wouldn't make sense because so many of them aren't gas-based planets.
I think it's just like, it goes to show like there's so many people in this world who just genuinely don't think about that, and they just like think we know everything, and it's like, okay, explain to me how the planets are the way that they are then.
No, of course.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Find me a trapezoid planet.
Find me a parallelogram. You're not going to.
Oh, a rhombus planet would be so cute.
So cute.
Pluto should be a rhombus.
That's why Pluto got kicked out.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So what did you learn about the blood moon?
Oh, okay. Well, there's a number of kind of ancient spiritual theories that are tied to it. And I'm going to read you some because I would love to kind of like understand what connects to you most.
Okay.
And we're going to understand kind of like if your soul is more Incan, more ancient Mesopotamian.
Oh, wow.
So essentially the blood moon holds different meanings across various religions and cultures. Duh. In the Inca civilization, the interpretation of the deep red color, or the blood moon, was a jaguar attacking and devouring the moon. And fearing that the jaguar might turn its attention to Earth, the people would shout, take their spears, and make their dogs bark and howl, hoping to drive the creature away.
Oh, so is that how we get like howling at the moon?
Oh, yeah, possibly. To ward away the jaguar that's eating it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Duh.
Doy.
Hungry ass jaguar. Ancient Mesopotamia. A lunar eclipse was seen as a direct assault on the king. And due to their ability to predict eclipses, they would appoint a proxy king for the duration. this expendable individual, I would so be the proxy king.
Yeah, I'm
They're
proxy
like,
king coded.
Girl, take this crown and
hey, if something happens, at least it's to you, useless.
Sit in the glow of the moon in the middle of the night, and whatever happens, hey, that's not on us. The expendable individual would act as the monarch while the real king hid. And then after the eclipse, I know, right?
I don't want a king that's going to run and hide because the moon's out.
These bitch ass little kings.
I hate that.
Confront the moon.
This is going to become me just like ranting about how men are cowards. But like, how are you going to be an actual literal king?
Yeah.
And then be like, actually, I'm scared.
Yeah. No, sleeping in between his parents while the proxy king just like.
I throwed up.
I flew up. Yeah. Well, the proxy king is heart to the sky.
Yeah. Being brave as hell.
Willing to sacrifice it all for his little bitch ass king.
It's rude.
That's ridiculous. The Hindu folklore one, it required a couple reads, but the demon Rahu drank the elixir of immortality.
As one does.
And the sun and the moon deities decapitated him.
But he's immortal.
However, his head remained immortal while his body died.
Okay.
Seeking revenge, Rahu's head chases the sun and the moon to devour them. If he catches them, an eclipse occurs as Rahu swallows the moon, which reappears from his severed neck. See, this is where I get kind of lost.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, but I do know that in like astrology, there's like Rahu and Ketu.
Oh.
Which is like the south side. Like Ketu, Rahu is the south side of the moon and Ketu is the north side.
Well, south side, the moon famously did form on the south side of his head, like as his body in this lore.
Yeah, in that lore. So it makes sense.
The others are totally, I think those are the most interesting. Aside from the fact that, of course, Christianity had to go and make it weird where they just associate it with the end of all times.
I'm just kind of like, how does any of this tell me what's going to be happening on Instagram?
No, exactly. I'm like, so at what point does the moon tell me that my podcast will kind of blow up?
Right. Like, I'm curious about that aspect of the lore. They sort of didn't get into that at the
right. So when Rahu ate the moon, did he get any information about kind of who put the 3-star review on our Spotify page?
And how we can track them down.
By the way, our tactic of shaming people completely fucking worked.
It did work.
The number of people who reached out and were like, we're so sad for you. And like, here are 5 pity likes. I was like, keep them coming.
And I had some people who were like, hey, is this about me? And I was like, yeah, kind of.
No, 100%. If you have not liked, subscribed, or engaged, it is directly an assault on you.
And you used to work with us.
Yeah, and there's no proxy king that you can assign in this scenario. Like, it is you, baby, on the line.
You have to take some accountability.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't feel super connected to any of the stories about the blood moon.
Me either. I like the drama of them all.
Well, here's what I'll say, because I feel like in modern times, we give the ancient cultures a lot of respect for what they were able to come up with and like really understand about the cosmos and stuff. And like this doesn't, no shade and does not negate that at all. But those stories are pretty whack. Like, like you're afraid for your king, so you're going to put a different guy there.
Right.
You're just making shit up.
No, again, like grounded in reality.
Right. Like can we get some realism here? Yeah.
Sure. Like what does the blood moon mean for clout?
How is the jaguar even going to get up there?
Is my skin going to break out? Like these are the questions that I have, broadly speaking.
Totally.
And how are we to believe that there is a jaguar up there when the planets are all circles?
None of them are shaped like jaguars.
Not a single jaguar planet as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, they were up to no good in those ancient times.
It is just crazy to think like we live in the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, we're hovering eons above, like we're suspended in milk time space.
Random time space.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you die, you're kind of like not in time or space anymore, but you're still existing in like the ether.
We are matter after all.
And so it's like, why do we even exist as energy? You know what I mean?
Totally.
I love that I'm sort of getting into this right now.
You're like, let's change the topic to something light and fun.
So what happens when we die?
Yeah. It was like, well, as ancient Mesopotamia dictated.
Yeah, it's been, I knew the eclipse was coming.
Yeah.
I'd heard March was going to be intense.
Sure.
And so I was like, you can be so emotionally prepared for this stuff. And yet it gets you. And then you're like, fuck.
You can be emotionally prepared for the fact that change is going to happen, but you can't prepare for what that
You can't prepare for what it is.
Of change will be.
Yeah.
Like there are some forms that feel really inconsequential. And there are others where it's like, had I known it was this, I would have taken more precautions.
Yeah. Well, and I was aware, like I'm aware of what my situation is now and like where I stand with my life and things. And so when people are talking about like you're going to have to really let go of something or have a big release in order to like usher in the new era of your life, like you have to let things go that aren't serving you. I know exactly what those things are. So it's like so helpful to have that foresight, and you can still even like be heading in that direction, knowing that you're heading in that direction. And still when it happens, you're like, ow.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that.
I know. Well, it's because, like, at the end of the day, you want it to be on your terms. You know what I mean? Like, if you had your way, it would be like, I want to dictate exactly when and how I receive this news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're, like, ultimately never really prepared because you can't control.
And it's like, it's not even really about the whatever's happening externally. It's always, for me, it's like, how do I handle what's going on with me internally and my emotions and like my thoughts, and how do I get myself into a place where I'm not like fully in a depressive spiral.
Sure.
Because I've been kind of like not living it. Like I've been kind of doing a lot of escapism recently.
Yeah. In what sense? And how? And how can I try?
and yeah, any recommendations? Lately it's been like reality TV is like my big obsession.
But I do feel like you've been doing it in a community building way.
I am doing it in a community building
Talk to me about the league, girl.
The league is happening.
Yeah.
I'm in 7th place currently, my Survivor League. Not going well. Also, like the show kind of sucks. But it doesn't matter because I'm still going to watch it.
Is it just like bad contestants this season?
It's not bad contestants, but this is going to... Connor's not even here to get into this. But
if he was, you know, he'd be tearing his way into the back.
He'd be like rolling his chair in here and be like, so...
Yeah, he'd be elbowing my neck out of the way. I'm dead weight
this is
when
not
you
your
guys...
podcast anymore.
No, of course. I'm just keeping it warm for him.
In 2020 or 2021...
Year of our Lord.
The year of our Lord. The great people over at CBS decided to change Survivor fundamentally.
Yeah, this is actually another theory of the blood moon, by the way.
That Survivor changed?
Well, the powers that be at CBS. Yeah.
Right. It's usually about them.
Of course.
They decided to change the format. It used to be 39 days.
Okay.
Your contestants were out there for 39 days. Now it's 26. And that changes everything, apparently. Like, and they added
that is a significant amount of time.
It's a huge amount of time. And like it really speeds up like the pace of the game.
Totally.
Because it used to be that like the contestants would have like multiple days in a row where like they didn't have anything that they were doing. And like that boredom really, like I felt like added to the shows, like because they would basically go insane and like people would be crazy. And so that's more fun. But yeah, anyway, they've also like added in all these like random twists and like stupid things. And it just ends up being like not that fun anymore, in my opinion.
How did they like cast this current group? Like, did they share? I feel like they have like themes around who the cast is.
Oh, they don't have themes
for the
anymore.
Contestants.
They used to have themes. Now they don't do that.
Well, that's annoying.
I know. It's like, it makes it impossible to know like what stories are being told.
Right. So it's just randoms who submit to be on the show.
Yeah.
No. See,
and also they are all obsessed. Like it used to be that people on Survivor were just like normal, average people.
Yep.
But now they're all like Survivor super fans and they're fucking insufferable.
That like breaks the fourth wall for me.
Yeah.
Or it's like to be like aware of contestants who are aware of the fact that they're contestants on Survivor.
100%.
And are like trying to lean into, I'm sure, tropes or like little things that they know that fans are gagged for.
100%.
Oh, that, as someone who's never consumed, I've passively consumed actually. Yeah. That would piss me off.
Yeah, they're just irksome to me. I would rather them like go scouting like they used to,
right?
And like find randoms off the street and like
I'd be so much better that way. Because I imagine these people like apply because they're comfortable with some level of like fame and visibility. Mm-hmm. The best types of reality shows are the people who are like, never heard of this.
Oh yeah.
What's going on?
Totally. And also, like, I felt like in the earlier seasons, some like the contestants, they all came from like different walks of life, and a lot of them would have like genuinely nothing in common.
Yeah.
And that to me is so interesting. Whereas now, like, everyone can bond over their love of Survivor.
Ew.
And I'm like, this is not fun to watch. Like, I don't watch this show to like see a circle jerk of people talking about how great the show is.
That's why I'm
when
in a
the show
fantasy
kind of
league.
sucks, actually.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I have my podcast friend Connor.
Yeah, that's why I
do that with him.
Yeah. We do that together.
Not
separately.
with the contestants. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that, but I've been escaping.
I was going to say, but that form of escapism to me is kosher because you've got a world around it.
I think it's all of just, you know, a matter of balance.
Sure.
And that is something that I struggle with a lot in my life.
Yeah.
But it is good that I'm having community with it. And like this week I watched with a friend, which was nice.
I mean, I saw last night on your stories.
Yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's just, it's been a weird, I think like the Inog put me into like a state, and I've been in that state until yesterday. And then like the events of yesterday marked like the end of that state, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I needed like a kick in the ass to be like, hey, life is not just about laying in your bed.
Yeah.
And being sad.
We're also like finally fucking exiting the season where like it's okay to constantly be like marinating in your sheets all day.
Yeah.
Like we're finally moving into a time where it's like, oh, it's actually kind of sad to be inside right now because it's nice out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're losing the excuse to be kind of wallowing.
Yes, totally.
Like we can wallow outside. Wallowing outside is kind of fun too.
But as soon as you get outside, you don't even want to wallow anymore because you're like, oh, birds and the sun.
Right. No, exactly. Wallowing outside is actually more like feeling kind of reflective.
Yes.
And in touch with the world around me.
I'm touching grass and I'm getting messages from trees.
Yes, exactly. Whereas inside, I'm like, I am not receiving any messages on my phone, and
I don't know what fresh air feels like.
I want to be mummified in these Brooklinens for, well, if I can have it, the next week and a half.
Yeah. Well, you, especially because you've been so busy.
So fucking busy.
I've been like the opposite, so that's not good. I need to be busier.
Well, no, it's funny because like similarly, I feel like Inog launched me into this like intense identity around this, what I'm planning for, which is a wedding. And it just like that feeling has not lifted since the Inog.
Just because like the timing of it was like right kind of the run up.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. But so to be like mired in like the feelings of that, plus this like identity that I'm ready to shed, I could not be more excited for life beyond April.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
I do feel like there's energetically a huge difference between like the first 3 months of this year and the rest of the year.
Completely.
Like, that was because every time I like when the new year happens, I always kind of do some meditations and sort of try to understand what the energy of the year is going to be.
Of course.
And I can usually see months like, I think I've told you this before, but like calendar months. And I felt like the March was like the bridge between like kind of gunky, intense stuff from like the previous year.
Yeah.
And that all that stuff is like kind of getting washed away.
Totally.
And like the latter half of the year is going to be like so different. And like, I think in a good way, I want to say, but I can't even say that anymore because like,
either way, it's going to be different.
Which is great.
Which is great.
Which is literally
even
so
if it's
good.
a worse type of different, I'm so ready to be finished with this, like with this specific gunk. And it's funny that you're talking about like visualizing different calendar months and portions of the year. Cause like I do that too. And that's where I'm like, I think I have synesthesia a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because when I think about like even last year, this portion of the year, I'm like, life was black and white. It was the Industrial Revolution. We were covered in coal. Like I really visualized the world in terms of like,
what does that mean?
It was just like rendered in black and white and sad.
Okay.
Like think about just like, yeah, I don't know, just a really bleak exterior.
Interesting.
But I act like I picture it as like, oh, we lived our life in like black and white.
Did you
sad
feel
film.
That way last year?
I think the beginning part of the year I always kind of do.
Yeah.
We always talk about this, but there's so much pressure around like the first part of the year where it's a time where you're told that you need to be like shedding old and like immersing yourself in new.
Yeah.
But the reality is you're just kind of like fucking shackled to bad weather and in this case, the inauguration of like, you know, the next dictator that we'll have for the next 20 years of our lives.
4 to infinity.
4 to infinity in future. Yeah.
4 to until the nuclear war.
Hey, at least he'll find a way to maybe make the planets different. He'll be like, they're triangles now. And you'll be like, okay. Yeah.
And he'll rename them like Planet America, Planet America number 2, Trump America, Trump Planet.
Yeah. No, that's so hilarious. True. Donald,
Baron, Melania.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Love. It's going to be so fun.
I know.
Wait, I was going to say something, but I don't remember now. But yeah, you've been really busy. I'm genuinely like, and it's so good that it's coming to this. Like, I'm so bored and fucking sick and tired of my coping mechanisms. Like,
oh, yes.
I'm like, this doesn't do it for me.
You know what's okay? I actually am curious, like, what are other coping mechanisms that exist? Because like I feel like we all have the same ones. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that like wallowing and scrolling and like escapism is, it doesn't feel like particularly unique to you. And like it feels like that's a pretty shared
that's a
thing.
Huge one, yeah.
But I would love to know how other people cope through dark times like these.
Right.
In a way that's not like, yeah, being stitched into your mattress as though you're part of the stuffing.
I think, unfortunately, the solution is like doing hard things to take care of yourself.
Ew.
It's horrible.
Are you kidding?
I'm so sorry.
What the hell?
Like, I think it's like stretching and like journaling.
It's like foam rolling.
Yeah.
Nope. It's like drinking more water.
Yeah, it is. Fully.
I actually had a doctor tell me that recently and I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut up.
Like, don't look at me in the eyes and tell me to drink more water. I'm here for something that feels far worse than what tap water could fix.
Yeah. I think for me, I have to get to a point where I've saturated myself so much in my own bullshit and like just all of the things that I layer on top of my feelings to avoid them.
Yeah.
And then I get so exhausted by the towering stuff that I'm like leaning on, and so then it all collapses, and then I'm like, okay, now I need to like go do some yoga and touch grass.
Yeah. Wait, we haven't brought up our Holy Grail in a while, but I was listening to Say It With Me, this Jungian Life podcast.
Oh.
And they were talking all about the notion of changing your personality and how hard that is to do. And one of the hosts, Joseph, who to me looks exactly like how I envision God looking.
I've never seen a picture of him, but yes, I agree.
And I actually will never look up a picture of him because the way he looks in my brain, I never want that image to be sullied.
Yeah.
Like he is what he looks like to me, which is like Jesus adjacent with wooden sandals.
Totally.
Anyway, he was saying that when he was going through analysis when he was younger, he had like a really tumultuous upbringing with just like kind of abusive physically and emotionally parents. And he would get into this pattern every time he went to his analysis sessions where he was just like constantly complaining about them. And then he had one point where he started to complain and he was like, I'm so sick of this. Like I'm actually so sick of talking about this.
Yeah.
And that was like his permission internally to just like move on.
Yeah.
And I actually feel like that is exactly what's happening to you right now, where your body's being like, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
It's done.
No, and it's been that way, and it really feels like this is like the final sort of purge.
But it has to be like your body on your terms being like, I can't actually stand this anymore.
Yeah.
Like the center cannot hold. We need to do something different.
Right, because like in all of my like coping mechanisms, it's like, yeah, you can like try to avoid whatever like bad feelings there are, but then that also means you're avoiding like everything else too. Like I've not been recording my other podcasts, like not like this has been, you know, we've
been touch and go.
We've been touch and go a little bit, like, you know, it's been stressful, whatever. And like just in general, I don't feel myself moving forward. I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel, just like trying to get through each day.
Yeah.
And that's just like not a way to live.
It is so funny though. And I wonder why this is just like what the psychology is behind it. But like in times of crisis, we never gravitate towards what's going to be good for us. Like I generally gravitate towards like what's going to be safe and comfortable and easy. And oftentimes those things are like not the best things for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like it would be so much better for me to cope with you doing this.
Yeah.
And like having a consistent recording schedule, being all buttoned up and professional about it.
Which we will
be. Teaser, buckle up. No, but instead, yeah, I'm like scrolling through the same 5 posts on my fucking For You page.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like TikTok has gotten really boring. Instagram has gotten so boring. Like my phone is so fucking boring. I literally can't be on it right now.
But I also have to be so close to it.
And I will, but like it's like it's actively sucking my life force.
Yeah.
Like whatever, drugs, not feeling good anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't eat. Like I'm just, it's
you're receiving a strong message.
Yes.
That it's time for something new.
Yeah.
Wait, oh my God, are you going to Mexico still?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
I'm so excited.
When?
April.
And it's
right after your wedding.
And it's just you.
It's just me.
I mean, come on now.
It's going to be so fun.
Where are you staying? What are you doing?
I'm staying at a resort in Cancun.
Which one? Name names.
What if people dox me?
So true. Tell me after.
I'll tell you after off pod. Try to keep my identity safe. But it's nice.
Okay.
I think, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there for like 5 nights. So.
Well, you know, I lived in Mexico for 2 weeks over the summer. Yeah. I sabbaticaled there.
And were you in Cabo or Cancun?
Cancun.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're going to have the best time.
I'm so excited.
Do you intend, like when you travel alone, well, have you traveled alone before?
Not really.
Okay. Do you envision yourself being someone who is trying to connect with people who might also be there alone? Or are you kind of like, this is for me, stay out of my bubble?
I would connect with anyone, like people who are there alone, people who are, if there's someone who feels good in my orbit, yeah, I'll definitely talk to them.
Oh, I'm just so excited for you to bring back gifts for me. Don't forget to do that.
Okay.
Like,
real. I don't remember getting any gifts from Mexico last year.
I know. And I'll pay you back in kind, but it'd be really nice to have a little goodie bag from you.
Fine.
Like a seashell.
Okay.
Or a vial of sand.
So not something from like the gift shop?
Or that.
Okay.
Just like, you know.
It'll be like maybe something dolphin.
I mean, I won't beg. You're just going to be so entertained by like the types of people I think who come to Cancun because it really spans the gamut.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget. Did I tell you the story? I was like walking around the pool and it was like probably 9:30 in the morning because I was up early. And at Cabana was a group of like maybe 7 40 to 50-year-old women, all of them in like hot pink bathing suits of different colors and shapes and sizes. And they all had margaritas. And I'm not kidding. They hoisted their margaritas up. They cheersed and they said, "We're all divorced." At 9:30 in the morning. I was like,
love that.
Honey, I'm home.
We're all divorced.
We're all divorced. Wasn't even cheers. And it was in unison.
Wow.
Like it was so, I was like, you practiced that, of course.
That is legit so
We're
beautiful.
all divorced.
And I need to, and I want like the HBO Max like backstory into all of the characters.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Because it could have been 2 very different scenarios. Like one scenario is they all knew each other beforehand and they were like, fuck it. Like we're all divorced. We're all friends. Like we're taking ourselves to Cancun. The other scenario, which I'm like slightly more intrigued by, is like they met there as like divorced women on their Eat, Pray, Love trip.
Yeah.
And they all connected at the cabana.
That would be really magical.
It would be so magical.
I'm inclined to believe the first one more, but
what would your in unison cheers be with the group you meet?
I don't know. Like what could we possibly have?
The planets are rhombuses.
The planets are rhombuses.
We agree.
Yeah. But we all, I don't know. I don't think I could even come up with that.
You're just going to be sitting in a nice shaded chair with chips and dips and fun drinks brought to you in rotation. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. You can go on nighttime beach walks.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
That does sound scary, actually.
Because my mom told me not to.
Yeah, hey, maybe don't do that, actually.
You could go out at 4 a.m. and talk to a stranger and have them roofie you and die if you want.
Take yourself on a walk, actually, not on the beach side, but the highway side.
Yeah, the side with the cars.
Totally.
But yeah, I need to get like some books. I need to get some like clothes because I'm realizing I don't have like resort wear.
No.
And I have
so specific.
It is so specific. And I'm trying to like find stuff that I can like repurpose.
Totally.
Because I don't really want to just have like a bunch of sarongs.
No, so I went to Miami and was like, must buy sarongs. And so now I have a tight ass, slutty ass Skims sarong.
Skims.
Actually, it's like one of their, I forget what it's called. I'm just going to give it to you just to see if you can make it work.
Okay.
Because I could not.
Oh, well, if you can't make it work, then I probably can't.
No, like I looked, I actually looked like I was wearing it for religious reasons.
Right.
Like
for the purpose of having full coverage.
Yes, totally. Like it totally defeated the purpose of why you would be in something like that. My God. So I'll give it to you. See if you can make it work for you.
Remember when I cried earlier?
No, remember how I'm crying now. Oh no, this is good. This is good. We're expunging.
We're blood mooning this shit.
Oh, and then I also got a it was from like Azazi, like whatever Amazon brand that is. Not Azazi. Oh. If you Google like beach cover up on Amazon, it's it's like Mizuzi.
Yeah, it's always Mizuzi.
Or like Zazie or something.
There have to be at least two Z's.
100% and like 3 eyes.
Yeah.
It looked cute in theory, and it actually looks just like a hemp cheese grater. Like it is like a hempy dress with a bunch of holes in it. But again, when you're shopping for resort wear and you're not used to resort wear, you're like, that should work.
Right. That should look normal on my body.
Like in theory, that would look just fine.
And I have to say, because I have been browsing some websites, and I know that like I was on Lulu's, which is, you know, a very straightforward website. And I know there's a lot these days. So I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't really complain, but I was like pretty sad about the lack of body diversity on the models on the website.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just not really helpful to only see a size 2 woman in this. Like, I have to use my fucking imagination to figure out how this is going to sit on me.
Yeah. It's so funny because I think that brands have gotten worse at it.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was one point where I was like, oh, cool. Like,
there was one point where they were putting like multiple.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so nice.
Yeah. Like, each picture would be
like
someone
one would
different.
be like a mid-size, one would be like a petite, one would be like plus size person.
The number of pictures you click into, and it's like, model is 5'11" and 106 pounds.
wearing a size medium?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, look, I'm not a math person, but like I'm crunching the numbers and that's not right.
Model hasn't eaten a meal in 3 weeks and is wearing a size large.
Yeah. Model takes 1 pill for all of her meals. And is wearing a triple XL.
Wait, that's so funny.
But it's crazy. I'm like, girl, you are not wearing a medium. You've never touched a medium a day in your life.
Right. And if you're wearing a medium, I thought that was my size. So now I'm confused.
Right. So it seems like there's no chart for me.
No.
Yeah. I'm like 12 rungs beyond what you are.
And most of us are not 5'11".
Or 97 pounds.
Right. It's...
Yeah.
I just thought we were going in a better direction as a society, but also like we know that it's reversing, obviously. And
they're like starting to list the model's favorite foods. Like model's favorite food is ice cubes.
Model loves to snack on a carrot.
Yeah.
One single carrot.
Yeah. Yeah. Model thinks dessert is one clementine.
That's a splurge.
That is a splurge. Anyway, yeah. You let me know what you end up finding, because I just want, because you're right, like something that's transferable, something that can exist beyond the space-time continuum of Cancun,
right,
and look normal.
So I was intrigued by something I saw on TikTok that I don't think I'm gonna end up purchasing because I think it's gonna look weird on me, but it is like a one-piece swimsuit that's like a print.
Cute.
And then it comes with like a maxi skirt that you wear over it so that when you're wearing it, it doesn't look like a swimsuit. It looks like a dress.
Oh, cute.
It's like a cute concept. I just don't know.
Does the wrap matches the print of the suit?
Like it's the prints are basically the same, so you can't really tell that like
yeah.
You can probably tell that it's like a skirt and a top, but like you think it's just like a bodysuit and not like a swimsuit.
Yeah, I like that because so much of resort time is spent in a bathing suit, so it's kind of nice to like not be slapping around. What is more humiliating than walking around a pool in a bathing suit and flip flops?
I can't do that.
Slapping your stupid little feet in a bathing suit. Like I've never felt more 5 years old than I am when I'm doing that.
Yeah, and ideally, like in my mind, when I'm in Mexico, I'm looking like a superstar.
I don't envision you walking. Like I envision things coming to you, and being carried.
Yeah, maybe.
Amazing.
I'm excited to be having this like super intense emotional experience right now because I think it's the perfect amount of time between now and when I leave. So I'll be like in a good place by then.
Totally. It's also like, it's so hard to feel sad in 90-degree weather on the beach.
90 degree, I could feel sad, but 85, I'm good.
It might be 90 when you're there, but I think that's fine.
It's whatever.
It's whatever.
I'll be going.
You're like, I'll be fine as long as it's 72 and sunny.
Right, every day and
in
perfect.
Cancun. Yeah.
No, it'll be fine.
Either way,
yeah,
it's going to be sunny. You're going to be on the beach. You're going to be sipping a cold drink with little like grains of sand on the outside of it.
Yeah.
You're going to have sleepy afternoon naps after sunbathing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I can't wait. I need it so bad. Like this whole time has been just like I feel like for a while I've kind of been like, why am I taking a vacation? Like I don't even really work that hard. Like I don't really need this. And now I'm like, that's such a fucking lie.
No, it's a lie and a half, dude. Well, it doesn't even matter. You could be like fully, the state of things is weighing so heavily that it actually doesn't matter what you do in your free time. Like you could just exist in like space.
Yeah.
And still need a break from the space that we exist in.
So true.
Anyway.
So now that we are
basically at the end,
45 minutes in to the pod, should we do flip or flop?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Flip or Flop is a segment in which Carey and I reflect on our time apart, which is always bad. We hate being apart.
So bad.
Sucks. It's the worst. But within those periods, we have to acknowledge that life does move on. And so we're empowered to and allowed to have high moments, what we call flips, and low moments, what we call flops. And then when we come together, we like to share them.
Yeah.
Would you like to go first?
Yeah. This maybe even is like a beautiful metaphor for something that I'm not going to explain, but you can sort of figure it out. I had a terrible, harrowing experience when I was in bed for the 4th consecutive day, just trying to chillax, like I always am.
Sure.
Rotting away.
Yeah.
And I, out of the corner of my eye, see scurrying down my pillow.
No.
Yeah.
On your fucking bed?
Mm-hmm. I told you. A really big bug. And I think I purposely forgot this because it was so harrowing. No, I didn't tell you about it. I just put it in the document.
You put it in the doc.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I must have buried this information.
No, I didn't tell anyone because of what happened next. I'm embarrassed of and ashamed, but it did happen. So I'll tell you. It was really big. And first I just want to say, like, I am a pretty hygienic person. I don't have like an infestation of bugs. It's just my room sits like right next to the outside. So there's a door right there. And I think like sometimes little critters get in. And usually I'm fine with it. But when it's an enormous bug and it's on my bed, that's not okay.
No.
So it was like one of those big, scary like millipede or like centipede bugs.
Oh,
like many, many legs. And they crawl really fast.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. So I'm freaking out. I'm just trying to watch a real pain. I immediately like hop out of bed. And then I like couldn't like find it. Like it wasn't moving anymore. And I was like, fuck, where did it go? Like I have to take care of this. And so I'm like kind of peeking around, like so scared. And
you do the cougar dance from the Parent Trap.
Yeah, I'm like, no one's gonna get that. But anyway, I ultimately find it sort of cowering in, like I had a tote bag on, like that was sitting on my bed. And it was kind of blending in with the tote bag, so was sitting on it. And I was like, fuck. So at that point, I have like a couple options.
Sure.
try smashing it, but I don't do that really.
I'm going to be honest with you. Killing a bug like that is actually so much scarier to me than the bug itself.
Yeah, it is.
Like the aftermath of that is harrowing.
This is what was so like difficult because I was in like I'm pretty good if you're a bug and you're on a hard surface, we're good. Like I'll spray you with Raid and like I have no problem with that. But it was not on a hard surface. It was on a tote bag on my bed.
Two soft surfaces.
Two of the
softest ones.
Two of the softest ones.
Yeah.
If you know my bed.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was like, okay, either I try to smash it, but I might miss, and then I'm gonna lose it. And that was my biggest fear, was that it was gonna run and I was gonna lose it in my room.
To go to bed with a rope after laying eyes on the bug?
It can't happen.
No.
I knew
you would have to sleep upstairs.
I knew it was my duty to kill that thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm too scared to smash it because like I don't know what's gonna happen. And if I do get it, are there gonna get like blood and guts on my like
on your duvet?
On my duvet? Like I'm not doing that.
No.
So then I was like, I mean, I have Raid, so I can wait it out and see if it gets on the floor on the wall, or I can just, it's right there, I can spray it.
Yep.
And I can just deal with the consequences.
Do you sleep with Raid on your bedside table? Because you're speaking like you do.
It's on my windowsill.
It's close by.
Yeah, it's right near my AC unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's close by. I have to. It's like my security blanket.
Yeah.
So I ultimately did end up spraying it.
Spraying it on your bed.
Mm-hmm.
Did it? I'm assuming some Raid got on.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was horrible.
Yeah.
And it was like late at night at this point. Like I didn't want to wash my sheets.
No, of course not.
But I was like,
there's no worse time to be disrupted like that than right before you go to bed.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, here we are 45 minutes now out of my day when I was intending to go to bed immediately and shut my laptop. No follow-up.
I was just trying to watch Kieran Culkin's Academy Award-winning performance.
Aren't we all? And isn't he owed that?
Isn't he owed that?
And isn't he owed
from
that?
Us?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's been working really hard his whole life.
No, if he knew about what you had gone through to muscle through that performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Academy should belong to you.
It should.
Yeah.
I'll let them know.
That's very brave of you to do that. And I would have done the same thing. Like bedtime to me is so sacred where it's like, you will not get in between me and going to bed.
Yeah.
This is not about to be a wild goose chase all night long. I'm certainly not going to go to bed without knowing where you are and having solace in the fact that you can't touch me or reach me in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Especially since you are invading my space.
Especially because you already feel so empowered to be on my bed.
I've never had that happen before. Like,
a bug in bed is...
Bugs usually know like where their place is.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're going to be inside, be on the wall or on the floor.
Yeah. They're like, I'm allowed to scare you in two places.
Yeah.
And both of them, are hardwood.
And this one was like, psych, I'm going to destroy your sense of peace and well-being.
Oh, I also had that happen. It wasn't in bed, but I saw because I used to live in like, again, it was a clean apartment, but just where it was in the city, it was in Williamsburg. And it was an old building. So it was just bug prone. And we had a roach issue, which is the worst issue to have. I showered and saw a roach caught in between the plastic part of the shower curtain and the cotton part.
Yeah.
So it was still separated from me, but like
barely.
Yeah. Where I was like, you're not supposed to be in here. You're supposed to be scurrying in my kitchen drain. You're supposed to be hiding in like a shoe in my closet. You are not allowed to be invading my shower space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so to see a bug in an unsanctioned bug space is just not cool.
Well, and I feel like it speaks to this I feel like pressure that I am under right now to like get my shit together, like get the fuck up and do something, that I received this like sort of omen of like, hey, this space is not really like, it's not like your safe space that you think it is. Like,
good point.
You need to create other areas in life and you need to be going places, lest the bugs decide that they've had enough of you.
No, it's literally biblical that way.
Yeah.
Like the locusts are descending.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're going to be in your bed.
And they want you to go to an open mic.
Do you think you're maybe going to do that again?
I mean, I want to, but I've been talking about it for a long time and it still hasn't happened. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel like now you have the permission to.
I think now I have a lot, and I have the raw material, which is my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I'm like, because I get upset, we were talking earlier, I get upset that I like have to feel so much, and like being highly sensitive, it's just like sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
But then it's like, these are actually what create art.
Totally.
If you know how to use them.
Yeah.
So I need to like, and I feel the urge to recommit to that.
Well, it's not fun to try to channel feelings into art when you really don't want to. But I feel like the second your body gives you like the license to again, like I feel that way, not that I've done this in, I don't know, literally a year and a half, but like you'll just have a feeling where you're like, I want to write. Mm-hmm. Like I want to, and I don't know what it is, but I will find the subject and I will put it down on paper. Like it is a very kind of like freeing permission slip to be like, actually, no, like this is a good time for you to create now because you're feeling moved towards it.
Yeah. So watch this space.
Yeah.
But that was my flop.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening.
And what is worse than it's like a very trippy thing to watch their legs move too.
Oh my God.
The cascading wave.
It's like, it would be beautiful if it wasn't so horrific.
It would be beautiful. Exactly. 100%. It'd be beautiful if it was like the carpet in Aladdin.
Yeah. It would be so cute.
But not a fucking bug with trillions of legs. Yeah.
And then like, I also hate killing stuff and I hate watching them die.
I know.
Because with the raid, like they get poisoned.
Is it a slow death? I've never used raid.
It's fast, but you watch the death process.
Oh, whereas my God.
With smushing it, it's like, you know,
it one and done.
It's one and done.
No
but
problem.
With poisoning it, it's trying. Like it's actually
fighting.
Really sad. Like because it started. Of course, I started spraying it and it starts running.
Of course,
but I'm like, you're dead already, dude. Like at first contact.
No, exactly.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah, it's like The Last of Us. It's like you've been bitten.
Yeah,
you've been bitten, bro. There's no escape.
So then you just watch it like try to run from itself, and then like you slowly watch it like curl and like die, and then I'm like, I feel like shit now.
No, I played God.
No,
I didn't have to, and I did.
And it's like I inflicted torture upon this thing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just I didn't give it a mercy kill.
No, you weren't just like, hey, as a reminder, this is my space. Yeah. You have a whole backyard, actually.
Right.
No, you can't have those constructive conversations. It's like one infraction when you look like that and you're fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
You're dead on sight.
I do have existential questions about this. Like
I do too.
Because I'm like, does that bug have a soul? And if so, what is that experience? I guess I'll watch A Bug's Life.
Yeah. Let's return to the seminal text.
Yeah.
Wait. I went down a Reddit thread where someone was comparing to Not Like Us to the character Dot in A Bug's Life. And the Reddit thread was popping off. They were like, this is the theory. It is a commentary on A Bug's Life. There's a whole scene with grasshoppers, apparently. We need to return to the seminal text.
Yeah, we do. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Same.
Like since I was maybe 6.
Yeah. But it is a good point about like insects in particular. Like I have a harder time believing that like insects have souls than I do mammals. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or even birds. But maybe that's because we're like anatomically the furthest from them. I will say though, like bees and ants and like those types of animals that have like really strong like colony behaviors. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there has to be something. There has to be a soul there. Like you're feeling something for your queen.
Yes. And I'm fascinated by this idea.
If I learn that a centipede has a queen, we're going to have a bone to pick with you.
Well, this is why I'm like, I wish I didn't have to encounter bugs because
I know.
I don't think they deserve to meet the fate that they will have when they meet me.
I wish they didn't look the way they did.
Me too. I wish that they were pretty.
I wish they didn't look busted.
They were hot as fuck.
Yeah. If spiders had googly eyes, I would love them to death.
If the bug was like a 6'5" man, that would have been awesome.
If the bug was a 6'5" man in finance with blue eyes.
Who was in my bed.
We would have... it would not be raid on my bedside table. Let's just leave it at that.
It's something else.
Something far different. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But again... these are feeling like signals from a higher power. The bed
They
is no
really
longer
are.
the sacred space that you believe it is. The outside is beckoning.
The outside is beckoning.
Mm-hmm.
Energies, whether they're bugs or hot guys, they want to be in your bed.
Yeah, they want to be in your bed.
Your bed is calling them, but you have to go outside and find them and bring them back.
Beckon them there. Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to bring them there. They can't meet you there
and
first.
This is what we need to be doing with everyday experiences in our lives, figuring out what they're actually saying underneath and why it's actually good.
Of course.
Because most of the time, everything I experience it as negative.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But like, there's some good.
No, what's the subtext?
The subtext is always, actually, this is awesome.
Yeah. And hey, look, actually, now that we're talking about it, our lack of engagement is great.
It is, because we don't need to have a wide audience right now.
No, we just need us, baby.
We're still in our infancy.
No, of course. We need the womb is still safe.
Yeah.
We need to grow and be nurtured here a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we're big and strong, we'll come out and beg more for likes.
Yeah. Agreed. Do you want to do yours?
Sure. It's going to feel, I think, a little regressive because we touched on it earlier, but my flop is that I am overdue for a good long cry. Like, I feel like I was so capable of like willing that purge into me in high school. Like, I would have bad days, and maybe it was just like my hormones were really out of whack. Who knows? Like, I had been on the birth control pill for fewer years, and thus my insides weren't like tamped down and controlled.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just have a bad day, and I would go home and would be like, you need to hold on for 45 minutes. Like, I'm going to go sob in my bed, take a 10-minute nap afterwards, and come down completely new. Like, I would have good long cries all the time.
Yeah. You're describing my life.
I miss those good cries.
It's one of the only saving graces that I have left.
And this is what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm so jealous that your body can like react, like can externalize that feeling that way, because I am holding on to so much that's worthy of just like a primal scream or cry. And this helps, like articulating it. Yeah. But what I need is like something that is like cleansing. And I feel like there is nothing more cleansing than like a good sob in bed.
Yeah. I can teach you this breath work that I do.
Please.
That will get it out.
Really?
Get it out really fast.
It can like will a cry into existence.
You enter into like a different state of like consciousness.
Whoa.
So it's like it's not the same really as like being in your normal life crying.
Sure.
It's not as like viscerally emotional, but it's more like your body understands what needs to happen regardless of what you're thinking. It's sort of, you transcend like your logical mind.
Okay.
And so you're able to just like access what like primordial things are like churning that you're not really like able to crack open in your everyday.
So you're existence. Like detached from the context almost, and it's just like what's raw and inside of you.
Yeah, it's kind of what's raw, and like you understand. My experience of it is like I see things, or like I will see or feel into like an inner child version of myself who like needs to express something, or like I'll have like, there are certain like settings that kind of come up, but it's like, yeah, you're kind of like in a meditative like trance state.
Yeah. Please teach me.
Yeah, I will.
And I know that I need to, because like I wouldn't call myself like an angry person, but I feel like my fuse right now is really fucking short.
Yeah.
Like, when I should be kind of channeling that into like, what's the actual emotion behind this? Because anger is like, I feel like kind of a mask for other emotions.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, like frustration for not being able to express what you're maybe actually feeling at the time. But that's been happening to me, where I'm like all of a sudden snapping and I'm fuming and I'm seeing red and I'm like, I'm not even mad. Like, I just am trying to get something else out of me right now.
Yeah. Do you think it's about like just how busy and frenetic things have been?
I think so. Like, you know me, I'm such a like calm, low frequency person, like in terms of what I need to be happy. Like, I love my alone time. I love my sacred spaces. I love like routine on my terms. And I feel like that has just not been the case for me for like 3 months now.
Yeah.
And I'm like reaching that point where I'm like, this is actually starting to feel almost like a form of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so far out of the realm of what's like normal and comfortable for me. And I feel like a good cry would like help me reset that. But instead I'm just like building and continuing to feel angry.
Stands between you and the cry?
The actual act of producing it.
So if you are there anything like, I mean, I
could probably think about like
I can see like a crumb on the sidewalk and I can figure out how to make that sad.
You know what's interesting though? Like this was gonna be my I was considering bringing this up as my flop, but I felt like it, like in light of everything that's happening, it didn't really make sense.
I also love that we're talking about stuff in like such a vague terms because like I'm not talking about my personal life.
Certainly I'm not either. No.
Anyway, continue.
We implore our listeners to connect the dots.
And
maybe, hey, fucking reach out.
Hypothesize
or reach out and ask for follow-up details. I have been allowing myself to get very sad being nostalgic for the present. Not about the current times because those I want to be done with, but thinking about like my parents being healthy and like,
oh yeah,
like out of nowhere, I'm like, whoa, that is so sad to me that I have this like healthy, happy version of my family right now that just won't
always exist,
is not going to exist forever. Like if I let myself think about that and I have a Negroni, I'm like, well, okay,
yeah,
things are bubbling to the surface.
Dealing with like the impermanence of everything.
Yeah.
It's really horrible. I think especially it's interesting too, like you being at this time that you're in because you're making this commitment that people use the word forever.
Totally.
When they describe getting married.
Yep.
And that doesn't exist. Like, I mean, it does, but not here.
No.
So like, it's kind of silly for us to make these grandiose statements.
And even the day itself is so finite. Like, it's such a huge day that is done in 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then it's like you pack it all up and it's over again. So yeah, I'm getting like, that is where I'm like, there's something, maybe that's what's beneath this right now is just like being so wrapped up in this like planning to a moment. And then under the moment, I'm like, there's so much that we're celebrating that's just not forever. Like the day is not forever. The people who are going to be there are not forever. And that like existential kind of question has been like for real weighing on me.
And it's like, I think especially, I mean, I don't know, I've never planned my own wedding, but the anticipation and leading up to it, it's like, there's no possible way that I can like experience this the way that I would need to.
Right.
Like I would need to live this day like 30 times for me to like get everything that I want to squeeze out of it.
Yes.
And so it's like it's almost like you're excited, but then there's a level of like dread around like, well, what am I going to miss? Or like,
no, exactly. Yeah. It's like, this is a one-time thing. Yeah. It's everyone I know and love in one space. And it even feels like silly that we have to like put wedding around it. It's just like a really trippy thing that there's one day of like your life encapsulated.
Compiled into a space. Yeah.
Your life encapsulated in one space. And you're right. Like, I hope that the version that shows up that day of me is like the version that can appreciate that and like really absorb that. And so, yeah, there's just like and it's like, yes, under the like umbrella of the wedding, but it's just had me thinking so much about like how good things can be in one moment and how really bad they can be in the next for no reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that'll do it.
Yeah,
maybe that'll do it.
Wait, so what was your that I
need a good long cry. Yeah. But I think it's coming. Like I think it's bound to happen either right before or right after.
Because also if it's right on the surface and you do like literally 30 seconds of this breathwork technique, you will start to feel things happening and you don't even need to go all the way into like the meditation stuff.
Space.
Like you can just literally like it just kind of stirs it up and then it's like kind of comes up.
It's so close. You know those like like cascading effects of everything is going wrong where it's like you have a tote bag on and it's sliding off your shoulder and then you walk into a door.
You drop your coffee.
And then you drop your coffee and then like your sleeve gets caught in the door handle.
Yeah.
I'm like one of those inconveniences away from like fully fucking unraveling.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I tripped going into the bathroom this morning and I was like, people better keep their distance because someone's getting punched in the throat.
Yeah. No,
the FROAT. And it didn't happen, thank God. But it's like something,
No, I think it's like in the air right now.
Totally.
With this eclipse, blood moon.
Yep.
Everyone's just, it's an intense time. So I don't blame you.
Did I tell you though, like speaking of catharsis, that I went axe throwing recently for a friend's birthday? It was like, I was dreading it because I don't like activities famously.
Same.
Like I love sitting and doing nothing with my friends. Maybe with like, we each have a drink, you know what I mean? But like hanging out with activity is like so far from my form of entertainment. That's hard for me. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
And we were also bad at it, but to hurl something so dangerous towards a wooden wall with no chaperone, it felt really good.
I should do that.
Yeah. There are apparently these places, I'm going to say this and people are going to correct me, but I think that they're like rage rooms where you
the
can
destruction places.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen them on like The Bachelor.
You literally just go in and break things for an hour on the company dime.
I would 1000% do that.
Yeah, I either need that or like pottery. Like I need to do something that puts my brain so in the moment that everything else dissipates. And axe throwing was very much that way because you're given all of these rules when you start where it's like, oh, you have to hold it like this and you have to hold it like so many inches back from your head because if you move too quickly, the base of the axe could hit the base of your skull.
And then you're dead.
So the whole time you're just focused about like not cutting yourself in half.
Yeah.
And you get to play fun games like Battleship.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't
you
know
like
they
try
had
to
games
sing.
involved.
Yeah. They like project an image of a ship and you try to sing it with your axe.
Cool.
I know. It's so military industrial complex and I loved it so much.
Yeah. It's something that I also, if I had that plan, would be like dreading.
Totally.
But then maybe it would be fun.
Yeah. It was what I hated it until I was like good at it.
Yeah.
And then I loved it.
Of course.
We love when you're good at something.
I love being good at something.
Yeah. Axe throwing is like the one thing I've discovered recently and everything else is kind of like, she's just getting by.
Yeah.
I wasn't even exceptional at it. I just like wasn't bad.
That's good.
Yeah. That's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I'm happy that you had that.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to axe throwing.
Yeah.
Now. I'm going to leave now.
Totally. So, and actually on that note, we're wrapping it up.
Yeah. It's crazy time. I'm glad that you were able to get some rage out.
Yeah.
Or like whatever feelings.
But it ties back to what we were saying about just like, I'm all for escapism, but I now know that I need better forms of it. Like whether it's, I just need to be out of my head and out of my fucking apartment a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I think that it's escapism. It to me is not the same as like healthy coping.
Right.
Like escapism is you're trying to avoid or run away.
Sure.
Feel better in it just from doing something.
Yeah.
Which you feel better after you like exercise or like just go on a walk, but not as good as smoking a J.
Certainly not.
So that kind of sucks.
Trying to contend with that.
Yeah. But
has the new Lady Gaga been helping?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was listening to it on the way here and it is so good. It's so like having an album out that you love is so healing. It is.
I'm trying to think about like when Chappell Roan came out with her album, I was like, to not have to think about what you're going to put in your ears when it's time to listen to something. Like it is, and it encapsulates like anytime that song plays, I'm like, oh, I'm here in this space and time. Like I can remember where that album like was really seminal and important to me. Yeah, the new album is so good.
Yeah, and she really inspires me because she's like done a lot of different things and she's not allowed herself to get like pigeonholed into just being a pop star. And like I think that is something that I personally have struggled with because people only see me as a pop star and they don't see me as a podcaster.
I'm like, what we're doing here, okay, is not performance.
No, it's honest.
It's
raw
intellectual.
truth.
Yeah, it's kind of closer to lecturing, actually. Yeah.
But I just really respect that she like does whatever the fuck she wants.
I know. It's been really because I think that when she's interviewed about the album, she's like, "This is the best I've I've got.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because she's like probably has the most control, like creative control over what she's doing, and is like seeing her art so clearly now. Like I was listening to one interview with her and she was saying that like her earlier stuff was like an exploration of fame.
Yeah.
Which, you know, of course has something to do with music, but like music is one element of fame. And now her art is like an exploration of like what it means to entertain someone through music.
Yeah.
Which is like such a big distinction.
Interesting.
According to her, of course. But yeah, it's also just, it's hit after hit.
Yeah, it's
not
just a lot of bangers.
Song misses.
Yeah, like I need some bangers to help me dance, because dancing is like such a form of healing.
We have not had a good dance pop album in a really long time. I was talking to someone recently, like Dua Lipa's album came out during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like we were robbed of a summer of dancing to Dua. But I do feel like the records are kind of correcting with Mayhem.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But I'd be dancing in my room.
I'd be dancing.
Just get that energy out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to Cowboy Carter, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
It's going to be, I'm like, after April, the only thing I'm focused on is like, what outfit am I wearing?
When is it? July?
May.
Oh, May. Okay.
End of May.
That's awesome.
I know.
She's going to be insane.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend about this because he was asking me like if I would pay like $200 to go see Beyonce. And I have like with the stadium tours, it's just like not really my thing. Like I think they're amazing.
I've never been to a stadium tour performance.
Yeah.
You
haven't?
No, not with an artist like that.
Okay.
No. What have you been to?
I mean, like I wouldn't compare these two as artists, but like I've seen Harry Styles and those are big, like big stadium.
No, I was going to say that's like a massive stadium tour.
I really like concerts when they're like more intimate and smaller.
Yeah.
But
I guess
obviously
like,
Beyonce can't really get away with that.
Right. And for that too, it's like, I don't expect to go to that and think that I'm like going to a Beyonce concert. Like I more envision it being like, oh, I'm at a party in a stadium.
Yeah. Or almost like you're watching it like on TV, but you're there.
Exactly. Yeah. Like like a 4D kind of like movie experience.
It's like TV, but the person's right there.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, because when I'm there, I generally only watch the Jumbotron.
Oh, yeah. Because if I'm up in the nosebleeds or whatever, it's, what is she looks this big?
Yeah, she looks like a little Tic Tac down there.
Yeah, I can't see her
Not
doing her moves.
No, I want to watch TV with my friends.
Blue Ivy.
No, she's too little.
She's too little.
She's
so good.
Imagine being that age and being on tour with your fucking mom.
It's
by the name of Beyonce. Me at 12, girl, I was still picking my nose and eating it. I'm not kidding. I shed that habit when I was 13.
It was juice boxes for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It would not happen.
What was that show? I was going to call it Imagine Dragons. Oh no, I think it was Imagine Dragons.
Imagine Dragons is the band.
Mm-hmm. What's the one where they hold on to the thing and they go, I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in the land afar?
I don't know. Dragon Tales?
Yes. I was watching that.
Right. I was watching Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like trying to flirt with my like 4th grade teacher, Mr. Sargo.
Yeah.
I was not nailing choreo.
Yeah, I was not twerking on stage
No.
in a really classy and beautiful way.
No, certainly not. No. I was not a fixture at kind of, like a halftime performance. So anyway, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm actually knocking out 2 pretty big stadium concerts back to back.
What's the other one?
I'm going to Charlie XCX at the end of April.
Oh,
yeah.
That's going to be so... my friend went to that and she said I had the most amazing time.
I'm so excited. I do think that I need to kind of like have some therapy done on whether or not I have photoepilepsy before I go. That's a fear of mine that I secretly have it and then it comes out at that concert.
Oh, but you've never been...
Wouldn't know.
How do you find out?
Can't know unless you try.
Can you watch like a YouTube video where they do that?
The photoepilepsy at-home test?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
It's a swab.
Yeah. It's the same swab for testing if you're trans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course. They knock a lot out. with those.
You can test so much just by putting something up your nose.
If you're sad.
Oh my God.
Tell you real quick if you're sad.
They don't need to do that test on me. I don't want people to think that I'm like so unwell. I also like, we're recording this so soon after something happened.
You received news yesterday that would destabilize anyone.
Yeah. And I think if we were recording like in 5 days, it would be a totally different vibe. But I was so grateful that we had this scheduled.
I think it's important.
And that we literally tried to book a guest for this. I think I reached out to like 4 or 5 different people. No one could do it.
It was a sign.
And I was like, and then when this happened, I was like, thank fucking God.
Can you imagine if we got together today and had to like turn the lights on for
actually talk to somebody?
Actually talk to someone?
I couldn't.
I know. And rest assured, there will be guests in the future.
Yes. And we love having guests.
They're the best. But it's important that when things don't go well, that you can just gab with your gal for a little bit in a safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, should we wrap this thing up?
I think it's time.
Yeah. Well, at the end of every episode, we do our closing segment called Message in a Bottle. And it's where we muster all of the gratitude that we can sort of find within, which sometimes is just a little tiny droplet. And we send it on over to something that we are grateful for. Mm-hmm. Should I go or do you?
I forget. Did you go first or the last one?
I did, but I don't really care.
Go.
Okay. Well, this is going to be very much along the lines of everything we've already talked about. But my message in a bottle for today goes out to reality checks.
Yeah.
The concept of reality checks. I've had some really profound reality checks in my life. I had one in 2019 that like I've talked about. It caused my spiritual awakening. And they are just so amazing. Like you can be going through life and feeling so numb and disconnected. And like, of course, in this time of like me having all my coping mechanisms and like kind of numbing out or whatever, I'm also like romanticizing the past and like pedestalizing people who don't need that and creating all this fake shit in my head.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just kind of mired in it. And then you have a reality check and all of it evaporates immediately. Mm-hmm. You are finally clear and it's the most painful thing. Mm-hmm. But it's so amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's kind of magical in a way.
They're so sobering when they happen. Like to see you, because I had one recently where I like saw myself the way that probably someone else was seeing me. And I hated it.
Yeah. Oh.
Where I was like, oh my God. Like I've been like that for weeks.
In terms of like how you look or how
behavior.
You've been behaving. Okay.
Yeah. But it was just like, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier where like I had to become like sick of myself in that moment. But I like finally heard what someone else was probably hearing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't stand myself.
Yeah.
Something has to change.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to get it like, I don't know. Are you referring to what happened yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah. Like to have it handed to you that way.
To have it, it's like the way that it unfolded too was like, I sort of knew that it was coming.
Yeah.
And I was like actively choosing to show up for it. And then it did. And I was like sort of still taken aback. But like as soon as it hit, I knew that like nothing, like things are changing right now. And like it's going to be better than it has been. Because I've, like I mentioned, just have been like treading water and like on a hamster wheel. And getting this was like this jolt of energy.
Yep.
And like this purging and then like taking it in and like processing and also when you were talking earlier about like crises and how we are in crises or where we turn to, like I often find that moments like a reality check, even if it's utter chaos inside and I feel horrible, it like makes me want to be more present with like it does something to me where I like take my life more seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey,
wake up. Yeah.
Like get your fucking shit together. And it's not in a mean way, but in like a, hey, this isn't working.
Isn't that funny though? Like they happen and like you're speaking to yourself in a way that like feels really external, mm-hmm. but it's like a switch that flips so quickly where it's like, what voice is talking to me right now? Like, it's my voice, but it's like a voice that I wish that I had been able to hear long before this moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. It's like something internal is conjured and like looks you dead in the eyes. And it's like, you gotta change what's happening. And I think it's
like
here.
Such an underrated human experience because everyone just, you know, wants to complain about how things feel bad. And I'm the number one person who does that. So
don't knock it.
Can't judge. But it's like when you think about it, it's actually like such a gift.
Yeah.
And I just want to hold that perspective today with my message in a bottle. So thank you to Reality Checks.
I'm so happy for you and for that reality check and
my
grateful.
Stomach hurts.
I know. And after this, I'm going to go rub your back and say, nani, nani, nani. I'm going to sing you a nice little song.
Please sing Love Me Forever, Love You For Always.
That song is You're Living My Baby You'll Be. And then I'll do it at night too. And while you're sleeping, I'll crawl right in. No worries. Like the centipede. I'll keep mine quick and it's going to seem silly after this. But actually, maybe it's like a good next step after this period of purging. My message in a bottle goes out to being at a nice restaurant and sitting at the bar.
I love that.
I went last night to a new place on Washington Ave called Cafe Motto. And so good. Highly recommend.
Did you get food?
We got food. We got drinks. But they sat us at the bar and we had truly the sweetest bartender. She had just moved from Minnesota. But there's something about a bar seat where it's like, I'm not like them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I don't view you as lesser than me.
No, we're the same.
I'm here chatting with you. I want to learn about your life. I'm going to order all of your recommendations. We laughed.
Oh, yeah.
We communed.
Your dinner becomes like so much more than it is at a table.
And I feel like because you sit there, they view you actually as a different type of guest.
Yeah.
And so like we did have a dessert that was brought out to us just because she was like, I like you guys. Like, you're so much fun to talk to.
Yes.
Granted, I was like 2 cocktails deep, so I was actually fun to talk to.
No, I'm sure you were being so funny.
So charming, so funny. And I got a free little mango dessert out of it.
Yum.
But I just, don't knock the bar seat at a nice restaurant if it's the only reservation available. Like, really lean into it and embrace the people who are serving you. And treat it like more of a social experience because we just had the loveliest time and we felt so connected to the staff there afterwards.
Yeah, I think sitting at the bar is much like Reality Checks, an underrated human experience.
Totally. And it can go wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think there are some people who sit at a bar and are like actually really excited to insert themselves in your meal. Like,
I can't do that.
And we had a couple that was sitting next to us and there was a moment where they turned to us and they were like trying to kind of have a conversation in a way where I was like, I don't think this is like a passing thing.
We're not like at omakase right now.
No.
Which also at omakase don't do that.
Right. It's also like, I didn't come here with you.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I don't care.
Yeah.
But thankfully it was like a nice passing moment. And then it really was just like me, this lovely bartender who was our server, and Parker. Just like, it felt like a group dinner.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like also the feeling of I'm maybe making the bartender's life more fun or like their job easier by treating them like a human. Like the amount of like points that I give myself for just like being nice to wait staff.
But it is so funny because I'm like, what is up with that? Like,
yeah.
And what is it about sitting at the bar versus a table that like removes it for both sides, where it's like they start talking to you like you're a normal person and I start talking to you like you're a friend?
Yeah. I wonder if it's like when you're at a table, unless it's a high top, you are below the waiter.
Yes.
Like the waiter is looking down at you.
100%.
Whereas if you're at the bar, we're on an evil plane.
Level.
I mean, evil plane.
An evil plane.
We're on an evil plane.
Yeah. The other plane is evil, but this one is even and nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, embrace the bar seat.
I love that. Embrace the bar seat. I'm going to be doing that a lot in Cancun.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the perfect place to do it.
Because I just want to bring my book and sit at the bar and like have a drink.
There's nothing better than, and next time I do, like it will be a solo, because that's the other thing that I need to embrace more is like the art of the solo meal at a nice restaurant out. I do so many solo meals home alone in my
but if you're going to a nice restaurant,
couch.
You should invite me.
No, that's so true, actually. We need to get one more dinner date in the books.
Please.
We'll go back where Daddy served us. He's like,
him.
Oh, they're back. the spit in their food.
Opposite of your bar experience where he's like, I actually need to leave. So
he's like, actually, like I quit today and my boss will be standing in. Yeah. I'm moving across the pond. Anyway, this was healing and lovely as always.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have this space.
And I'm so happy for this inflection point that you're facing.
Everyone thinks that like I have cancer. It's like, it's so much smaller than what you think it is, but because
but it's felt in a big
sensitive
way.
Little girl.
Yeah, that's you can't help that.
Sorry, I was born this way. Lady Gaga, to bring it back.
To bring it back to our queen. Anyway, adore you so much.
Adore you. Thank you to the school.
Thank you to the school, and love to the 3 people who decided to like our last reel.
Yeah,
you guys were
so
homies
much
for that. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.